So what is microembossing or nanoembossing in the world of printing? Let's find it out together. There are many processes that can improve the qualitative aspect of your labels and packaging, but they are not able to ennoble the product, such as microembossing. But what do we mean with microembossing? Microembossing or microincision or microengraving, with that terminology we mean that printing process characterized by hot stamping cliches, or hot stamping and embossing cliches at the same time, that are developed and engraved with a very fine texture of lines and dots. When we go to hit the cliche and imprint it on our sheet or reel, the hot foil will be transferred and the graphics of our cliche will be transferred to the paper, keeping those lines, points or other geometric shapes that were previously engraved. The result is a reproduction of a foil that has much more life than a normal foil, with optical refraction in place of light and shadow given by the angle in which we will have reproduced the image. The HM Navigator sample book allows us to have a wide spectrum of observation that we can obtain thanks to an intelligent preparation of our hot foil plate. Since some textures are particularly complex, it is not necessary to start from scratch, but by providing them with the specific example code and indicating when sending the embossing plate file the area in which we want this effect to be reproduced. Nanoembossing or nano engraving or nano incision. It is also necessary to mention the existence of nano embossing. It is the extreme version of micro embossing, in which the details are reproduced even more finely by the company that produces the hot foil stamping plates. This process allows you to create even more pronounced light shadow effects, sand and satin effects, photorealistic effects, lenticular effects, authenticity marks, glossy matte transitions, and gradients. The value of this process is particularly interesting when it comes to authenticity marks, to give the product an immediate premium effect and a greater appreciation and perception of the company's positioning. A preliminary analysis phase must allow a correct preparation of the micro-embossing plate. But if you have decided to print with our team, we can do this for you. So here I will give you some tips on how to create the perfect micro-embossing on your labels and on your packaging. Try to vary the design. The most beautiful part of the micro-embossing is precisely in the light shadow effects that are created. Think in terms of texture and perspective. See the image you're going to create as a three-dimensional element that wants to try to get out of the paper. Since it is a hot process with particularly fine details, it is strictly not recommended to print in micro-embossing and nano-embossing on plastic materials. We therefore recommend printing on natural papers, coated papers, etc. If a glossy foil is used to print the effect, if you have decided to include very micro engraving or nano engraving elements in some sections, you can create satin or opaque effects to be combined with areas where you will leave the plate flat, which will therefore remain shiny and glossy. There are no real limits in the choice of the foil to use. However, we recommend using slightly lighter foils, possibly avoiding black and brown or very dark colors, as this will reduce the pleasant light shadow effects of the micro-embossing. Costs of realization. There is an initial cost of making the hot foil stamping plate for micro-embossing and nano-embossing. However, the rest of the process costs similar to traditional hot foil stamping. Precisely for this reason, I highly recommend trying to experience the micro-embossing and nano-embossing on your adhesive labels or on your packaging, like product boxes for example, to give three-dimensional and make your product premium. Too often we see around the usual hot stamping foils flat, and lifeless, it is enough to be joined by your trusted designer into a professional printer who knows the properties and noblements that can be obtained with these micro-engraved hot foils. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos about e-commerce, packaging. Don't forget to like this video. If you like this video, share it with your friends and your colleagues. And as always, love you all. Ciao!